Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Passenger Seat Parlay. And today I have a very, very special guest, Money Mel. Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Well, I stole it from your husband because you just said it 30 seconds ago. And I was like, yo, Money Mel for sure. And I want to say thank you for coming out here to come on the parlay. I've been watching you from afar. I'm sure you're probably like, who is this Jesse's friend reposting my shit all the time?
No, you show a lot of support though.
Of course. Yeah, girl, your CMOS changed my life. And we're going to get into it. So tell the people them, who are you and where you come from and all that jazz?
So my name is Melanie. I was born and raised in the Bronx.
Well, that's not the right saying. Is it? Do y'all say that?
Yeah, in the Bronx we say you're.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. You know, I'm a transplant.
I found love when I was 27 years old. I'm now 33. But I decided to take a leap of faith and move for love to Missouri.
Yes.
Everyone thought I was crazy. No one supported it.
Bronx from Missouri?
My friends cried. My family cried.
Aww.
I think in the back of their head, they knew that or they had an idea that she'll be back. Because, they all come back. In some way, shape, or form. Like some people who move out of New York, they come back.
Right.
But I think it was because him and I, we barely knew each other and we just went by an experience that we had after we met each other.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like love at first sight.
Oh, I love that.
So I decided to take the leap and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Let's just put it right there. I moved to Missouri. They call it misery.
Mm-hmm.
It was the middle of nowhere.
Oh
and
my gosh.
He was in the military and I left everything I knew. I left the Bronx. I left my family. I left my friends.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like a fish that just got out of the ocean and put into an isolation tank.
Yeah.
And I remember just feeling like, why the fuck did I do this? Wait, I don't know if we're supposed to curse or not.
Oh, yeah,
But I remember thinking, why did I do this? Why did I leave everything I knew to move to the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
But I was happy. I found love. We got married and pregnant 2-3 months later. So
of course. And she did it by the book. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm
married
just like,
first, and then she had her baby. When the universe aligns, it aligns.
Right, and a lot of my family and friends told me that, well, at least you're married. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not ready. I've always been the auntie that, I would get my nieces and nephews for 5-10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, go back to your parents.
Girl, me too.
I was that auntie. Yeah. And it was crazy because nobody ever saw Melanie being a mom. That was just she ain't never going to have kids type of, because I didn't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
But when I found out I got pregnant, I was just kind of like, okay, I guess, I'm going to be a mom. And there's no manual for this. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do this. And the good thing is that he already has a daughter. Mm-hmm. She's 11 now. So he had that experience already. So I was like, okay, well, at least he knows what it's like to handle a child, change the diapers, all this stuff. Because I didn't know nothing. I went into it blindly.
Yeah.
But, so I moved to Missouri and that was that. He ended up leaving the military. A year later, we decided to choose between Florida and Chicago.
Nice.
Chicago won.
Yes, great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, he had a job opportunity. Sorry, he had a job opportunity that unfortunately didn't work out in Chicago. But it's okay because it was meant for us to go there.
Exactly.
And the doors just started opening for us. I remember when the pandemic happened, CMOS was something that was spoken of. And I was always curious about it. I had a friend in a group chat for a high school reunion that kept on talking about CMOS. She was actually selling it.
Okay.
And she was just we would talk in the chat all day. And if someone said something like, oh, I'm sick, I don't feel good, or my stomach hurts, or, I need to lose weight, she would always pitch CMOS. So one day I decided to give it a shot. I was like, you know what? I'm going to order CMOS, the dry version. I had a lot of time in my hands in Missouri, of course.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to make it. I made the CMOS and him and I started taking it and we noticed a difference in our energy levels.
Immediately, yes.
We noticed a difference in our gut health. We just felt amazing.
Gotcha.
When you just have a lot of vitamins and minerals, sometimes we're deficient. So when we have all of that, when we're taking our 2 tablespoons a day consistently, you feel that difference. You feel great about yourself.
Melanie was on it too.
And she tried
I still am. And girl, can I tell you guys, y'all used to see, I used to put your Euphoric Moss and everything. And I think, so personally, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I got her some of your sea moss, but we're going to get to it.
Yeah.
So she was, like 2023 into 24, I kind of fell off. It got heavy. So I remember prior to that, I had my weight loss surgery. I was losing weight. Mainly, I was taking your sea moss products to help with everything. And during that year where I would order, but like, first of all, that sea moss powder lasted like crazy.
Yeah.
And I put my boyfriend on. He took up all my powder, but we don't talk about it. We still got the pills. Those gummy bears, dangerous. When I say, I read the back and it said 2 per day, like they were gone in like a day and a half. Because they're so good. Like I was eating them like gummy bears. I'm like, I can't overdose on sea moss. But I was like, wait a second, bitch, check your thyroid. Like, you know, not too much. But just the products itself. And we're going to get back into it. But I want to dive back into you and, you know, before you had the mom life in Missouri, could you say you were someone who was always like business orientated? Did you have any other businesses prior to the sea moss business?
I would say my first business idea ever was the lipsticks. They were clear lipsticks, but if you put them on your lips would turn a color based on your pH.
Ooh,
so that was like a trending.
Second.
Yes, that was like a trending. No, not anymore. But it was so cute because it was a lipstick. It was clear, and inside was like a cute little flower in the bottom.
Yeah.
But when you apply it to your lips or your skin, it will turn like a nice pinkish/reddish color, natural.
Very cute. Yeah.
And I remember, like, I had no knowledge. I saw, like, this, I guess you could say, competitor. Their videos were going viral on Facebook at the time.
Yeah.
And they were getting a lot of views and a lot of orders. And I was just kind of like, I like this idea. Like, I want to do this. I want to try this. And unfortunately, it didn't work out due to lack of knowledge. I didn't know how the ad system worked. I didn't know anything about running a business.
Yeah.
But I kind of just went in full with faith.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, my last resort was, it's a funny story because I actually used to go from salon to salon selling this product. Okay. And the product sold itself.
Let me tell you, a girl from the Bronx.
Yes.
Okay, she ain't gonna take no.
And I remember, like, and mind you, I was a pharmacy tech. So on my lunch break, I would literally walk 30 minutes to so many beauty salons and just pitch the product to them.
Oh my gosh.
And I would make like $100 during my lunch break. And I'm like, oh shit, I can do this. Like, this is, I like this. I like the feeling of making money. I like the feeling of just people supporting. And little did I know that that was preparing me for what was to come with my sea moss business. Amen. Because it was strengthening my sales skills without me even like getting training. Like I already knew how to sell it and I was selling it. Yeah. So that's how I knew, like, deep down inside, okay, like, I'm meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I've always excelled in any job that I had. For example, I used to work at Papa John's when I was about 15 years old. I started off as a customer service representative and I worked my way up to a general manager.
Ooh, okay.
At the age of 17. And then after that, I decided that the job was not for me anymore. So I started working for the owner in his office, and I used to oversee the 7 stores that he owned. Papa
kind of like
John's
an executive
store.
assistant kind of thing.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So like that kind of unlocked something else where I was kind of learning about business. I used to look at his bank accounts. I used to look at the money coming in, the money going out, what he used to do, the freedom that he had as an entrepreneur. And I was just kind of like, I like this.
And you know what I love about that story? Something I touched on a previous episode is, like, in a way, your learning experience could be considered, quote unquote, trade learning in a way, since it's not directly in school. Because I feel like a lot of days people think, oh, they need to go get that BA in business administration. And you're a natural born New Yorker. I feel like all New Yorkers are born, it's a BA degree at birth.
Yep.
Because you learn how to hustle and you learn how to be innovative and creative. So I love that for you. But go ahead.
Yeah. Also, what he just mentioned, like, growing up, my parents had a business. It was called Bronx Entertainment.
Yes.
And they used to sell DVDs, CDs, PS2, whatever it was at the time. Like, all of these like music and games and things like that. And I grew up watching that. I grew up watching my mother and my dad hustle in their store and making crazy money. Like Christmas was the best for us.
Yes, immersed.
And so I guess like naturally it's already like in my DNA to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So when I started selling it, unfortunately that business never became anything. Mm-hmm. But fast forward, I just became like a hustler. Like I started working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So I was working at the Bronx Public. Shout out to the Bronx Public as a server. Yeah. And then I also had a job working for a marketing agency.
Oh, nice.
Like teaching people how to, not teaching people, but recruiting people who needed home care services to join our company where we would provide the home health aid and stuff like that.
Love that. Yes.
So when he met me, when he met me, I already had 2 jobs. And I remember, like, and he would tell this story all the time.
Yeah.
When it was time for me to move out and when he picked me up, I opened up a safe and I just started counting money. And he was just like, what the fuck, babe?
He's like, what kind of mama mafia is this?
Yeah, he was like, yo. And I was just, and I count money fast because I used to be a manager. So it's
okay. I know you got them teller hands.
And he was like, and it opened up his eyes because I ended up, long story short, I ended up like teaching him how to save money and prioritize like saving and limiting your expenses.
Right.
Like, you got to save money. Yeah. You got to save money. It doesn't matter how well you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's how I guess you could say I became an entrepreneur.
Oh, I love that. Girl, I'm like, will you marry me, please? So, all right, let's take it back to, I think, when did you start Euphoric Moss? Was it 2020, 2019?
I started Euphoric Moss in 2019.
Yes, right before the pandemic, because that's when the pandemic happened. That's when like the algorithm shifted. And that's when I saw your products and pushing out more. Like I definitely saw the marketing change. So take me to the moment where you're like, babe, I want to open up a sea moss business. I'm about to do it. The kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes. Take me to that moment.
So I know earlier you mentioned when you interviewed Rob about the clothing business. Mm-hmm. So after we moved to Missouri, we opened up a clothing business, but we weren't prepared for that. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for us. Plus the lipstick business that I mentioned to you didn't really work out either. So I had this fear of failure, and I love sharing this story every single time because I feel like it's so inspirational. Mm-hmm. I was afraid to start another business because we failed 2, right? 3 with the sneakers. And I was just kind of like, I know that it's installed in me. I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to get it to come out. But also, I couldn't stand being on the sidelines watching everybody else thrive in entrepreneurship. And I'm just still here with all this unleashed potential, trying to figure it out.
You're not a quitter.
So, I'm not a quitter. And he's not a quitter either. That's why, like, I guess
it works.
It works out. Mm-hmm. So I remember I said, you know what? I like the sea moss. I started experimenting with like fruits, doing like different blends with mango and stuff like that. So I said, I'm not going to start a sea moss business, but I'm just going to use my platform on Instagram to educate people about the benefits.
Yes.
Educate them about like what it has done for me, how I feel, and also just show them like little that's when the reels was taking off at the time. So I was like, let me just make cute little reels, how to make sea moss gel, stuff like that. And I remember a few people started telling me like, hey, Mel, why don't you just start selling this? And my heart used to drop every single time because I'm just like, no, I'm afraid I can't fail another
the imposter
business.
syndrome
Like,
trying to sneak
I wouldn't
in.
be able to recover from failing a 4th business.
Yeah.
So one day I decided, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell this sea moss, but I am not going to give up. I don't care how hard it gets. And that's when I decided to post like a Facebook market post on Facebook. I saw that there was a demand. People were coming to my door for sea moss. So I was like, okay. And I remember there was a jar shortage at the time because of COVID.
Right.
So I had to take 45-minute trips to go to random houses in the middle of Chicago to pick up like 100 jars of sea moss.
Yeah.
And then I remember one time he came home after work and he's like, what the fuck is all of this? Like, how do you have the whole room is full of jars? Like, what are you going to do? It was stacked to the ceiling. And I told him, I was like, babe, mark my words. I'm going to sell every single jar and you're going to see it happen. And believe it or not, I took it to the next level. I opened up an Etsy account and I just started posting content. I was so passionate about what I did. I had so much time on my hands because we were living in Chicago and I was obviously parenting to my son, and he was working full time. And I just took it and ran with it. And it's been history since.
Yes, I love to see it, and especially being on the outside watching it. I remember you would have videos of you chefing it up and educating us. So that whole teaching us, I was like, I was there. I was in there. And take me back to the manufacturing aspect of it. Because a lot of it's naturally made. Well, I would see you would wash it up with the key limes, everything. First of all, when I saw you washing the sea moss with the key lime, the Caribbean in me was like, yes, I could trust the product.
Right.
She washed her chicken too.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yes.
No, for sure.
I'm like, okay, I trust this. Especially when you, because during 2020, that was like the health epidemic. Every single niche to be healthy and combat was out there. So it was definitely the time to market, which I'm glad you, on your spirit, you did it at that time.
Right.
But there was a lot of dudes coming out. And I realized that's something you would educate us on about the difference between, the pool sea moss versus
and real sea moss.
Can you tap in, expand on that for a bit?
There is such thing as pool grown sea moss. Basically, it's grown in a pool. And they mimic the ocean. It has like waves, and they put table salt in there. So it's kind of like you're growing artificial sea moss.
Oh my God, not the Temu sea moss.
Yeah, right. Temu sea moss. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Okay.
But, some people were selling it, and I've spoken to business owners who had like sea moss businesses. And I remember one time, this one person that I coached, I told her, I was like, hey, your sea moss is not real, right? And she was like, oh my God, yeah, I made a mistake. I didn't know any better. I wasn't educated enough. So I was like, you got to be careful. So our sea moss is sourced from St. Lucia. The clear waters of St. Lucia. We triple wash it. We use lime to clean it. So obviously it's like, think of it as cleaning a fish or shrimp before you serve it. Like if you don't clean it, you're gonna have that nasty sea taste.
Yep.
So our sea moss is extreme.
Meats.
Right. It's like washing your meat. It's extremely clean. We triple wash it. Obviously, we use gloves. We use spring water. It's just the whole experience from the beginning to the end. I literally make my jars with love.
Oh, I can taste it.
Right. And now I'm gonna be honest, I've grew in the company.
Of course.
So I'm not making it anymore. I have my staff making it. But I taught them how to make it with love.
Right. Oh, the TLC is still there.
Yes.
Girl, that chai, you have a flavor, the spice chai, that can go with anything, everything. That was my profi mix.
The cinnamon too.
Yes. I haven't tried the cinnamon.
The cinnamon is so good.
I tried the macaroon, but I'm afraid. I'm like, I ain't trying to get too fertile.
Yeah.
Because I know that shit works. So I was like, let me just chill. Very much so. And I loved how the brand has expanded from sea moss jars to botanical products. Because when you talked about the lipstick, I was thinking in my head, okay, yeah, she did the whole facial thing with the sea moss.
And the body butter.
Yes. Do you have any other plans to expand the brand right now with different products?
I'm thinking of doing a Sheila G sea moss gel.
What's that?
Sheila G is supposed to be like just as good as sea moss, provides your body with minerals and all of that good stuff. So I'm thinking about like making it a powerhouse blend where you get the sea moss with obviously the magnesium, the iodine, the potassium, and then you have another superfood, which is Sheila G. Mix it all together, you create this big old super blend.
I love that.
That will be extremely potent. So that's in the works right now.
And while we're talking about the nutritional value, like I mentioned, I did take your products heavy 2022. I still got some on the shelf too. And I have those sea moss pills because I'm so bad at pills, but I still like open them up into my smoothies. But I have PCOS. So I noticed that when I stopped consistently taking my sea moss for that year where I was dealing with my mother's medical condition, I noticed there was a shift and a difference. So for the PCOS girlies and other people who have diabetes or cancer, how does sea moss kind of aid in that?
So, I mean, I can't really make any health claims.
There you go. You see that?
But
you see that medical
yeah, but I would say that sea moss does improve symptoms. For example, if you have, irritable bowel syndrome and you suffer with constipation, sea moss is good for your gut. It's gonna act as like I don't want to say I'm looking like not like a laxative, but because the texture of sea moss is so smooth, it would like allow everything to come down smoothly without you straining in the bathroom. So like it's good for that. Your immunity levels, if you suffer from like having a poor immune system, you take your sea moss. It's going to help strengthen your bones. It's good for your skin. It's good for so many things that like, just for example, like I am vitamin deficient. Like, well, I was vitamin deficient, but then when I started taking sea moss, like it made a difference because like naturally we're deficient from vitamins. So when you take your sea moss every day, it does make a difference in how you feel, and whatever you're lacking, it provides that. So it's like a multivitamin on steroids.
For sure. Legit.
From the ocean.
Right?
So
God's earth. So we're transitioning into 2025. Sea moss had its huge boom around 2021, 2022. Now you have sea moss products being commercialized by these bigger corporations where they're making products out of these pool sea moss, and they're price gouging. And then even now with inflation, how have you, who's a natural sea moss provider, and you go through all these extensive ways to have your authentic organic sea moss, how do you compete with competitors who are cutting costs and quality?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say, if the shelf life of sea moss is 6 months or more, or just over a month, run as far as you can. Wow. Like, I'm not going to expose any brands, but there are brands now that are in, big time places like, let's say, Sprouts or Whole Foods, and their sea moss is sitting on a shelf, not stored in the refrigerator, and the shelf life is 6 months. That is a red flag.
Oh, for
because
sure.
It means that they're filling it with so many preservatives. I don't know what they're putting in it, but it doesn't sound okay. Think about a smoothie. You want a smoothie freshly blended. If you have to buy a smoothie that's sitting on in the shelf life with, not being refrigerated, that's a red flag.
That's true, because it's not even the produce area.
The problem is a lot of people are not educated. They're not well educated about this. They just see sea moss. They know that there's a hype around it, and they will automatically consume it. They don't care about the price. They don't care about it sitting on a shelf, not in the refrigerator. They will become consumers because they don't know any better. And that's where you come in, and I'm just like, no, our sea moss is as pure as it gets. We triple wash it. We don't use preservatives. We use natural ingredients. We don't use food coloring. And we ship it out frozen with an ice pack for you to put it in the refrigerator as soon as you receive it. So we're not tweaking anything out. But like I said, some people don't know any better. They see it on a shelf. They'll buy it because, let's be real, like sea moss already has a reputation. But you got to know what you're buying. You got to know what you're putting in your body. Just because it's fancy, or just because it looks good, or it's in a popular store, does not mean that it's good for you, or you're going to get all the vitamins and minerals that it has to offer you.
That part. I think that is a valid question you touched on, is the shelf life. Because again, it's like a lot of these products aren't even being stored in the produce section where there is a refrigerator. And like you said, yours are fresh, still cold to the touch when I open it. As far as sea moss products go, have you ever encountered an issue with receiving, a poor batch? Like, how have you handled that?
You mean a poor batch of
like the
dry sea moss, the raw sea moss?
Yeah.
There was an instance where I wouldn't say it was a poor batch, but the sea moss had a lot of debris. So me and my team, we had to spend 2 times more cleaning it out.
I see.
Where I had to contact the distributor and tell them, hey, what's going on? Like, there's a lot of debris. We're working overtime to just clean the sea moss. Because I care about my clients and I care about their experience. I'm not just going to throw dirty sea moss in a blender. Like, we're going to be working overtime to make sure there's no debris.
Love that.
So that was, I guess you could say that was like the only experience where I received a poor batch. But I've never received full-grown sea moss from a distributor. Because then I'll be throwing hands. No.
Right, of course. Now, out of your products, which was your favorite to come up with?
My favorite was the bundle. So I have, because I felt like colors are appealing, and at the time, it was just like people were selling just plain raw sea moss. And I was like, how can I make it more interesting, make it more like tasty, where people would see it and automatically want to buy it. And that's where I came up with the bundle, the blue spirulina, the dragon fruit, and the turmeric ginger. You have yellow, blue, and pink. And just that alone, like a customer would be curious, like, hey, like I want to try that. I want to.
And are
they
kid friendly?
Good.
I know you have a son. So he'd be up in there too.
He loves sea moss.
Eating it down.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll open up a jar and I'll start taking sea moss, and he'll come up to me and he'll go, "Mommy, can I have sea moss?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah.
So he loves it.
Of course.
And
what kid is coming up asking for vitamins?
Yeah,
that's like Fred Flintstones, but better.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, love that. And as far as your products go, I noticed that you do have a service where you offer people who are interested in selling sea moss to get into it. Could you kind of go into that with me?
Yeah, I do offer a coaching business. And I remember, I would say like 2 years ago, I was really focused on that. And it was very successful. Like I coached a lot of people, over 200 people to be exact.
Wow, yes.
I would hop on
Money
Mel. Yeah. I would hop on one-on-one calls with them and I would teach them what I knew. But I guess you could say like I didn't structure it in a way where like the coaching now sometimes is long-term. It's like a month worth of coaching or 2 months worth of coaching. So right now I'm in the works of breaking it down where I could teach them, because sometimes over one call, like you're not going to get everything that I've learned throughout these 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So like right now I'm in the process of restructuring the course, coming up with like a school group where people could talk to each other, as well as, you know, hopping on once a week, teaching them, answering questions, giving them in-depth things, because the level that I am now, like it's not something that you can go over one or two calls.
Of course.
So but it's something that I want to focus on later on. I'm just trying to work on structuring it now.
Of course. Yes, Virgo, line up the chips. As an entrepreneur, what would you give up-and-comers coming into the field? What advice would you give them?
The advice that I would give to people who want to be entrepreneurs is do not give up, reinvent the wheel, look at what your competitors are doing, try to mimic that in your way, in your unique way, and just keep on believing in yourself, because a lot of the times we are our worst critic.
Yeah.
But if you just, like I did, I told myself I wasn't going to fail and I stood to my word till this day. If you make that promise, you never know where it can get you.
I love that. Yes. Now I want to get into it with you and Jesse about your joint venture that you've had. I noticed that you guys just recently opened up an event space together. Can you kind of go into that? Because I know it's like, I feel between you two, I know I'm expecting more. And I can't wait to see it. You've had the Euphoric Moss, marketing A1, adding stuff going. Jesse's popping off with the barbershop stuff. He's on my TikTok algorithm, my Instagram. And then all of a sudden I said event. I'm saying, what's next, Lord? I'm here for it. I'm like, yes, with the event space. I'm like, I wish I was in Chicago. Like, so how has that been? How did you guys kind of pivot into that space?
Yeah. So there was a time where my business blew up on TikTok Shop. And I was like, okay, it's time to move out of the comfort of my kitchen and find a space to produce the sea moss. And I remember finding a space in a big commercial building, and it was in the back of the building. I rented out a kitchen. And I remember just talking to the owner. He kept on pitching the idea like, hey, I have other, spaces available in the building. Do you guys want to, use it for something? Like, he's like, I already trust you. I already know, your financials and everything. You're qualified. He's like, but what do you want to do with the space? And I was just kind of like, I don't know. So him and we kind of spoke about it. We brainstormed a little bit. And I was like, what about an event space? Like, what if we do that? Like, what if we host birthday parties, baby showers, quinceañeras, all that good stuff. And we decided once again to take another leap. And it was a tough leap because obviously it involved like investing a lot of money. So it was scary. I remember there were times where I couldn't sleep. I was like having anxiety, thinking about what if this doesn't work out? What if I fall behind on rent? What if I can't fill up the venue? What are we going to do? But I was like, if I did it before, I can do it again.
Amen.
That's where we was like, you know what? We're going to go in and we're going to go hard all over again and we're going to start something new.
Here's what we did. It's like a lot of people, when they start a new venture, you don't mind me chiming in on this one?
Of course.
Okay. Just like when they start a new venture, they just throw money at it, right?
Yeah.
So what she did was genius. She posted it just as is, right? On Facebook Market. Mm-hmm. So if you got a t-shirt business, if you got any type of business, post it out there just as how it is, just to see if you have a demand.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we posted it as just like a blank canvas. Like,
before we even signed the lease, we posted it.
Look at God.
And then you just posted it, and like people were like, "Oh, can we get it?" And it was trash. And we're like, "You guys want this, please?" Like,
it was before we remodeled it.
Before we remodeled it, we were like, "Okay, well, there's a demand." So like that's what any business. If you can create a demand, just by like, even if you don't have the product to sell, and you put it out there in the universe, you put it out there. Hey, this is what I got. Even if you don't have it, it's sold out. Like, oh, I don't have it. Like, that's all you got to do. But that kind of worked out in our favor because I love that. Yeah, we got to see like people.
It seems like you guys really put faith into your business endeavors versus money.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely,
yeah, we have to, and just being our authentic selves, like just me, like because sometimes he would be busy cutting hair, and I have more freedom on my hands, so I would be doing the showings, and I would show them the space and work it out with them, and just my personality alone would just secure the bookings.
Yeah, there you go. Yes,
it's that New York. It's that New York.
Of course, Sis was walking down the block on her break, on her side hustle.
Oh yeah, this she's not even told you everything. Like this is you touching the top of.
Well, let's go to the surf. Let's go down. Like what we doing? We scuba diving? I love this. So, how long has the event space been open?
It's gonna make a year in February. Yes, in February it's gonna make a year.
Okay, alrighty. And you've had different types of venues or parties there.
Yeah, we've had birthday parties. We've had black suit tie events.
Okay.
We've had baby showers, quinceañeras.
Okay.
We've had weddings. We've had, what's the other one? Baptisms.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Baptisms,
bless the space.
Engagement parties and all that good stuff.
Let me get your number.
Right. And they love the venue. Like we did pour our heart and our soul into it.
So what's included in the venue? Do you guys bring props? Do you provide props? Do you allow people to rent out to other vendors? How does that work? DJ booth?
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, like, we're trying to partnership with, like, designer, decorators, sorry.
Okay.
With decorators and stuff like that. But it's kind of just a blank canvas. You come in, you pay by the hour. We provide the tables, the Chivari chairs. We have a backspace area with like a sign and a grass wall.
Gotcha.
And then if they want to hire a DJ, they can hire a DJ. So it's just, basically the venue.
Gotcha. What's the venue name, by the way? I never mentioned
Euphoric Gatherings. I kept the euphoric name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a joint company name together, or is it kind of like you guys keep it individual but together?
So I have my own LLC. She has her own LLC, and for business, it kind of works out. But she has Euphoric Moss is like the umbrella of
everything else.
So.
Okay.
So even like for taxes for me, sometimes I'll be like, oh, well, guess what? I work for you. So
right. See, and that's that business money I want to get into. Because even now, talking to my partner in our future, before we even get married, I'm like, listen, babe, we got to get our stuff individually before I sign that paper.
Oh,
because, it messes up the taxes if you know. Mm-hmm. So how do you guys navigate being entrepreneurs who are married and like kind of keeping the balance of your individual businesses, your whole marriage? You guys have a family you're raising. Like, how do you find that work-life balance, seeing that you have all these amazing, flourishing companies?
We just find time to prioritize. Obviously, we, take care of our business things, but also when we come home, sometimes we got to put down the phone, give attention to our son, and just like balance everything out. Like on Sundays, we try to go to church, or after church, let's have dinner or lunch, brunch, whatever you want to call that. But just make time for the family as well, because sometimes you can get so wrapped up in the entrepreneur lifestyle that it's just work, and then everything else starts to fall apart. So that's why, like, I had to hire people to work for me. Like right now, I have an event and I'm not even there, but I have my assistant texting me and letting me know everything that's going on.
Love that.
But just to have that freedom, like, because family is and always should be a priority.
Yeah. And that's a thing too. It's just like, there's this saying too that, if you don't like to do it, you got to hire somebody who likes to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can't always, that's what we had to realize coming into this like entrepreneur game. We were so spread thin. Like I was doing this, she was doing that. We were back and forth with different things.
Yeah.
And we had to kind of figure out ways to kind of like, nobody teaches us.
Delegate, yes.
Yeah, delegate. Nobody teaches you how to do this. No, we growing up, you don't like know how to like, unless you come from a business family or like, nobody's going to teach you how to do
Especially
this.
when something's your baby.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like delegating tasks and being able to trust people. And, even
it's
though,
hard.
Yeah. Because sometimes you could train somebody and that's just not what they're good at,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Because I do believe in finding interpersonal connections with people. I'm like, all right, I know somebody's super shy and that's not the person I'm going to send out to close out a deal.
Of course.
Right.
But it's like, if I need something done to the T, like intricate, okay, that's your thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So I love that. And as far as joint businesses goes, do you guys have anything new upon the horizon that you're, brewing, want to put out there?
Well, I would say like coaching.
Coaching? I love
We
that.
really do want to focus on like our coaching businesses.
Oh,
because
I'm
we
about
feel
to
like
sign up.
that's the next level.
This has closed the deal for me. I'm like, oh no, I need to have I'm going to marry your wife. Sorry.
Okay.
Like I need a new Virgo other best friend. I need to add another Virgo to the team because she's business too. I actually want to low key link y'all together, but we're going to talk after this. But definitely your coaching, it seems even both of your backgrounds, it's very similar and also it's successful. It's working. I feel like you guys are. I'm going to question myself. I don't like to call people everyday people because I feel like what is everyday? We're all people. We're all, even these celebrities are everyday people.
Right.
Just more people know who they are. But I feel like you guys are more relatable to me or the guy across the street who have a dream, act on it, and just excel. Obviously, everyone just sees the highlights on the internet. Nobody really knows the turmoil that goes behind the screen and what's really going on. No one sees the bank account. No one sees the credit line. They just see the product and either they're going to support you or not support you.
Yeah.
And in that aspect, I want to ask you guys individually, do you feel like most of your clients or the people who supported you are people you know or strangers?
Girl, you know the answer to that. I know. You didn't know me and you freaking purchased my
I feel like, right, I talked to you more than I talked to Jesse.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, you knew that I was married to Jesse, but, I feel like your biggest supporters are the strangers.
That's true.
Bro,
yeah.
Let me tell you, that's the realest fact. Like, my ex-girlfriends are buying sea moss from her.
Listen, that's love.
Yeah, so it's like, obviously
like
the
three
product,
of them.
Yeah, like three.
Child, not three.
And they shout me out too. I'm like, okay, thank you.
See, that's love.
Yeah. So it's like, it can't be nothing like, but along the lines of like, getting into entrepreneurship, like me and Mel have had different ventures and we failed a couple of different times. So don't look at this as just like, it's been a gradual, thing all the way up. So like we failed, like me and my friend, we started a sneaker business and it was really successful for sure kicks. And, we did this thing and it became something before resale was really a really big thing. Mm-hmm. We put Mel on and Mel made some money and me and Mel ventured off into clothing. And clothing is very volatile. It's very like, it's...
Yeah, especially with fast fashion.
You gotta be famous to get people to support.
Yeah. So we were throwing money at the wall sometimes. And then, when Mel found sea moss, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really... she'll sit there, I'll tell you to your face right now. She knows how I feel too, but I didn't really see it growing to the point it was because, it was like a little side hustle for her,
Yeah.
And then my kitchen got taken over at the house.
And the guest room.
Okay, you can't block off a tourist from their kitchen.
So the whole kitchen was gone one day. I was like, all right, this is getting kind of serious,
Yeah.
And then when the TikTok thing happened, that's when like our lives just like instantly changed that day.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok just like literally like overnight. I remember seeing just the printer going crazy.
We had a stack of orders this big.
Like, it was insane. Yeah.
My phone was going off every freaking 3 minutes.
I believe it.
Yeah, I had to like literally get
my truck.
It
was a dream come true.
Aww.
Yeah, it was. I had to get my truck and we moved everything outside the house.
Yeah.
We moved our apartment. We moved everything literally.
I remember the pallets.
Yeah,
you guys were posting. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it was
But
insane.
we moved everything during a time where we were going viral. So it was just like back to back, like, oh my God.
Yeah, you can't let up.
Then we had problems with our freezers breaking down.
Yeah.
It was just like, and I remember crying. I cried so much that week. And all I could think of is that funny video of the girl crying, wiping her tears with money. That's the only thing I could think of that kept me afloat during that period of that time.
I love
because it was tough. It was stressful. But if I could do it again, I sure would.
Amen.
For that
Perfect
type
time.
of money, like, and just everything, I will do it again.
Because it definitely sounds like it just set it off.
Yeah.
When you take a step.
It unlocked something new in Euphoric Moss history.
For both of us too, because it was like me seeing that part of her life at that point, like, you know, I kind of was like, okay, well, there's something to this, you know, like, and I was like, all right, well, let's go back to a new business. Let's take this barbering thing a little bit more serious. She's going crazy with the content. Maybe I go crazy with the content. And then now we both going crazy with the content.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, definitely have the mindset and personalities.
Yeah.
I love watching your videos. Boy, Jesse be having some fine clientele in there, okay? I was like, hold on, how old is he? He was like, now he's like 23.
But you better make sure your boyfriend don't hear this.
Listen, you know I love him. I got my type. You know, I'm like, if you could make somebody go from Urkel to Stefan in a chair, that's a talent. And not a lot of people have that.
Yep, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a few pit stop questions, Mel.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to ask. I feel like you're going to give me the same answer as Jesse. But if you weren't doing what you were doing, right? I'm going to switch it up because we got to make this a little funky. If you had to choose a 9-to-5, like a legit 9-to-5, which 9-to-5 would you choose?
Sales.
For sure. I could see that.
Yeah.
Sales. That's a smart one.
Because I have the personality, and like he tells me all the time, he's like, what you say? I could sell what?
What?
Water to a well.
Water to a well.
I
tell people when they come to my house, every time my friends come to my house, I'm like, don't talk to my wife. You're gonna end up buying something in my house.
Yeah.
No, I won't. Every single time somebody comes over.
I'm like doing your numerology. I'm like, you're a Virgo and you're a 9 life path. So I'm like, or day path. So I'm like, okay, I see it. Business wise, it's all lining up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I put on my Miss Cleo, because I'm like, I feel the spiritual. Look, for sure. I can tell. Definitely sales. I always say like it takes some charisma because I have that gift of talking interpersonal too. So I'm like, oh, you gonna be my friend. That's all. Like, let me get on this mic. I may be annoying, but I'm a special annoying. You're gonna be my friend. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna kiki. We're gonna parlay. I love that. And you guys have a son together, and obviously, just like in your childhood, seeing your parents in a business, he's having the same experience.
Right.
So how do you feel being a mother and seeing that your son is having the same kind of POV that you did? Is there anything you changed differently?
Yes, I definitely changed delegating.
Mm-hmm.
So like with my parents, they did have people that would work for them, but these people were shady. They used to steal money right before their eyes.
Right.
And so they had that obligation to like be at work from open to close, which we're talking like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. So like my parents were there, but they weren't there.
Yeah.
And like I remember telling Jesse, like, I don't ever want my son to have to go through that. Like feeling like mom and dad is here, but they're not here.
Yeah.
Hence why like I hired people to do the work for me so I can be with my son and make sure that I'm there for him and I'm giving him that love and attention. And you know, it can be overwhelming sometimes because when we're at home, our phones go off. Sometimes we have demands or emails to respond to and things like that. But for the most part, like when I do have a chance, I will put away time to like dedicate to my son.
Yeah. And does he show any like interest in being an entrepreneur as well? I know
he
he's
loves
little.
mommy's job.
Yeah.
So like when I take him to the office, he's always like, "Oh, we're going to mommy's job. Okay, mommy's job." Like, so he likes it. And then now that Jesse's in the building, his suite is upstairs.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll park the car and he's like, "Oh, daddy's truck."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna see daddy. So it's just it makes everything so much better. The fact that we're close to each other as well.
Oh yeah, it's just a whole family enterprise. Love that.
It's like, you know, we have time. We have more time for each other, and that's, like I said, that's important. So
yeah, I love that. I really love that for y'all. Now, as entrepreneurs, I have a dual question for you guys. So, if you had an opportunity to partner with anybody, who would it be, in what venture, and why?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
That is an amazing question.
Thank you.
Partner with someone like...
Anybody in any industry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Balls to the wall.
I would want to partner with an artist of some sort. Like, I've done something with Hebrew Brandley, like we cut his hair and stuff, but like I would want to partner with an artist to get some type of like, you know, thing going in the community or like some type of artwork going or something. That's just me. But I don't know, because I would also like to partner with this one, because, you know, if we...
Your partners already.
Yeah, well,
in the best way.
Well, I mean, like, you know, like a barbershop or something like that with her.
Oh,
She's
like Barbershop the movie?
Yeah, she's a dog. She's like.
Or I mean, your pH changing cosmetics.
Yeah.
I'm like, sis, sign me up. Revitalize that.
Yeah, she's like the type. She's
like a beauty parlor, barbershop vibe.
Not even just have her as like the manager, because
I get everything done.
Yeah, of course.
She's the one,
and I'm very efficient. Like, I will call a place 10 times in one day if I have to get an answer.
I love that.
So that's
or show up at the door.
Yeah. Oh my God, you got the best one.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, it's really hard to find a partner who balances off.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to get her to. I'm convincing her to let me get like a Euphoric Moss
product
supplement. Like
we're working on that.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Real talk, because I'm working. My boyfriend has locks, so I do his hair. And when we listen, babe, I know you're listening. I've helped that man grow his hair 6-7 inches just by me retwisting his hair.
Wow.
But I've been finding different gels, and he has a sensitive scalp, so I'm like trying to find different things to mix. Give him your sea moss things, the capsules. He has that, and it's helped with his itching. So I'm like, dang, yes, I need you to work that, because I will work it out.
Yeah,
because like guys love products too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so that's what I would want to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about you?
If I could partner with someone, it would probably be like a big time influencer, and just have them promote my brand and share it with their followers and bring more exposure.
Anyone in particular that you have in mind?
Maybe someone that I like to watch.
Mel Robbins or something.
Mel Robbins.
I love Mel Robbins.
Yes, I love Mel Robbins. Thank you for that, because I was just like blank brain right now.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins.
Oh, Mel and Mel? Yes,
right,
Mel and Mel can sell.
Right.
Hello. I'll host
your
meeting together.
She's so raw and natural and authentically herself. And
5-second rule every day.
Yeah. She would be like the perfect person.
We're going to manifest it. Mel and Mel, here to sell.
I would love that. That would be a dream come true.
Yes. Okay. Now, a question financially for both of you guys. So we're in 2025. We're in a time where inflation is at its highest. How would you guys guide entrepreneurs who are, either thinking of opening businesses or currently have businesses who are struggling with keeping overhead and being able to put out their product?
You want me to answer?
Yeah.
So for me, I found my best ever advice for financial freedom was the envelope method. Have you ever heard of that?
I think so, but do tell.
So the envelope method for me, along with my wife here, because she's definitely good with money. So the envelope method was a thing that I used to get out of debt. So what I used to do, I still do to this day, out of everything that you have, like there's like different metrics you can use. Like, all right, $35 today, however fast you can save it, however, until you get to a certain metric for that envelope, then you're done with that envelope, right? And you save that. That's your rainy day fund. Yeah. Then you have your, invest fund, or your fund. That's what I call it. Like my fund. I got $300 for that. So if this one's full, I move on to the next one. And so that's what I would do, just to save money. And then, like I said earlier, I would also, if you want to pick up a new thing, a new entrepreneur idea or anything, just put it out there in the universe first, even if you don't have the actual thing there yet. Yeah. Put it out there, just see if there's a demand. Yeah. And then if they try to buy it from you, I don't have it, I sold out. That's how easy it is.
But they're on that waiting list.
Exactly. So that's what I would do. And then third, this is the main thing I realized as being like a luxury barber. Yeah. You're not everybody's barber. I'm not everybody's barber. Some people have it, some people don't. Lamborghini had its best year this year, right? They sold X amount of Lamborghinis. Do you know anybody with a Lamborghini right now? Nope. But somebody's buying them. Yeah. So somebody's making money. Yeah. Somebody's selling it. Somebody's able to afford that car. Yeah. So, somebody has it, somebody doesn't. That's just how you got to look at it, though. So.
Right. That's real. Yep. What about you, Mel?
I would say, just to try to sell more products. Maybe if you sell more products, obviously the profit margins may be low, but you're getting rid of them faster, as well as just showing up, being your authentic self, and applying yourself and really pushing yourself to take your business to the next level, because that's the only way you can stay afloat. I wouldn't recommend boosting up your prices right now because it's not a good time to do that.
Yeah.
You can push people away.
Yeah.
But just try to market better, try to get your product more known.
Yeah.
And sell more units to make more money.
When you do your promos, do you find that you get more purchases when you put dollar amounts off versus percentage?
No. I've tried the dollar amount before. It wasn't that successful, but I do the percentage amount. And then I also like tell them that obviously the code will be at their checkout. Mm-hmm. So the code will be applied to their checkout. So once they see that big chunk removed, it makes them feel more like they're saving.
Yes.
And, saving converts into buyers because people always want a deal.
They always want a deal, yes. Even in my trade, I know if I'm like, I could go ahead and give you this case 30% off versus doing a dollar amount, even though the 30% is a little less, they'll jump at the percentage.
Yeah.
Especially
when they see the amount that's taken off, they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to save, $30 from $100. That's a good deal.
Gotcha. Yes. Thank you so much for coming in. Y'all flying in from Chicago.
Yes.
Yes. Here to parlay with your girl. And I've been kind of motivated from having you guys here because it's lovely to see, like, obviously my good friend from high school doing his thing, but to know and finally get to know you a little bit better as his partner and just seeing how you guys like are very much so in alignment with each other. Like, you guys can't see right now, this is an audio episode, but the way that they even look at each other, and it's like, it's giving Jay and Beyonce energy. It's very like synergy is here, and just like how you guys just piggyback off it.
Right.
Like, even though I'm an outsider and I'm interviewing you, I can tell like just whatever you guys got going on, it's working, and I'm giving you guys all the love and blessings. I can't wait to see you guys expand more. I'm just waiting for the next thing. It's probably cooking in the back of your minds, or it's going to fall in your lap, whatever you guys manifest. But I'm definitely here for it. Definitely going to visit you guys in Chicago.
Yeah.
Got a parlay. And is there anything you guys want to put out into the universe to just, sign off and give people some inspiration to their businesses? And they're looking at each other again, y'all.
Like, who goes first? I would just say don't give up. Yeah. Continue to believe in yourself. Continue to reinvent the wheel. And be great.
Yes.
That's the only thing I could say. Like, push yourself to be better and better every single day. Amen. If you want results, you have to put in the work.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Then, like I told you earlier too, but just say it again, we're living in a different time, but you can make it. You can make it in anything you go for, as long as you put just like that brute force and a little bit of will into that.
Yeah, there you go.
You're gonna find a way.
Strong arm
make
your
a
way
way.
into
Yeah,
it.
that's how you gotta do it. Nobody's gonna give you anything in life.
Amen.
So how you gonna make this happen?
Gotcha. Exactly.
I don't have somebody that can be like, hey, can you help me out? So
yeah.
I don't have that benefit. I never had that benefit.
We have each other.
We have each other.
I love it. Yes, you do.
And that's another thing. You got to find somebody that matches your hustle. So you have to find somebody that has similar interests, similar desires, similar goals in mind.
Yeah.
Really figure that person out and then build off each other.
Yeah.
Love that. Yep. And where can the people find you guys on the socials?
You can follow me at Euphoric Moss on Instagram, and Mel's _taught you.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, y'all. And where can they find you, Rob?
Yours?
Rob Cut It on Instagram, and then Rob Cut It on TikTok. That's
all right.
Pretty simple.
Thank you guys so much for joining me on the parlay. Yes.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, guys. We're going to get more from them in the future. Bye.
Bye.